What were your immediate impressions of the State of the Union address? Did anything surprise you?
It was surprising to me that Obama didn't talk about health care until about half an hour into the speech. It surprised me that he very squarely took on Wall Street very early in the speech. And it surprised me that he only spent 9 minutes at the end of the speech talking about foreign policy and almost no time talking about Afghanistan.
Yes, why did he only sort of kiss the surface of foreign policy and not get into it? Why do you think?
I mean, he's been hit so hard by the Republican Party, particularly after the loss of the Massachusetts Senate race last week, on the economy, on jobs, on Wall Street, and on health care, that he really needed to take this opportunity to refocus efforts to rebrand himself as a reform president. And unfortunately, a lot of that means foreign policy gets sort of shoved down into the back of the speech.
He said something. He said, when I ran for president, I promised I wouldn't just do what was popular, I would do what was necessary. It sounds a lot like what George Bush used to say.
Perhaps, I suppose you could look at it that way. But he also made a point of reminding everybody that he inherited so many problems from President Bush. He made a point of saying that he had to face massive challenges, particularly, a near second Great Depression, before he even walked in the door. So I think you would be not exactly wrong to say that, but he's pointing out that this is going to be a narrative that the Democratic Party can take into the 2010 race.
So as we mentioned, there was a lot of emphasis on creating jobs. That was a central theme. How's that going to play out for him, given all the domestic pressures, particularly from the Republican Party? Is he going to emerge stronger or not? How is the U.S. public going to lap this up?
The public wants to hear very squarely that Obama is focused like a laser beam on creating jobs right now, that he cares more about Americans who are out of work and struggling to make ends meet than about Wall Street. He did both of those things in the speech last night, I thought. And he threw a gauntlet down to the Republicans by saying if they insist on procedural machinations to tie up his agenda, then they bear the responsibility for governing and for what happens or doesn't happen. So it's really a challenge to the Republican Party to either get on board with his agenda, openly oppose it, and see what happens when the next round of elections occurs.